Let's just assume the Giants can't sign big-name free agents. Let's just go on their recent history.
Oh, it's fact.
Okay. So they haven't signed free agents in the last 5 years for the most part, 10 years, 20 years. Okay, so that's kind of their MO. So if that's their MO, do you trust Farhan Zaidi to make this team successful over the course of years, successive, without being able to sign a free agent? Because we all know, no matter who the general manager is, it's hard to sign free agents out here for whatever reason.
Well,
so
we're
do you
watching
trust
that movie.
Farhan?
I don't.
Okay.
I thought I did. I don't. And let me read this to you, Steiny, because we were talking about the compare contrast from Sabian and Farhan. Mm-hmm. This is from Shasky. 7 of the Giants' top 7 guys in the lineup are 29 or older.
Right.
Okay.
They have the 10th oldest lineup in baseball.
Butcher, a diehard like Bonte, Giant fan, 49er Frankie, they would rather see 5 rookies struggle. But he said Sabian developed his young players and wasn't scared to make trades.
Okay.
He didn't need to hit free agency.
Okay.
But Farhan is striking out at every turn. The guys.
Well, we don't know.
So Haniger was a good signing?
No. Are you saying he's striking out with the farm system?
No. Oh, hell no.
Okay,
That's what he's got.
That's a major part of being a GM, right?
Well, how many years do you get on that for the Roosters to come home?
But we're seeing. We can't deny. We're seeing.
If you're telling or selling a Giant fan, next year's going to be better because we're going to have more youngsters who may not pan out.
They're going to get better, aren't they?
How?
That's the point. You got young players. You want them to get better.
No,
if
I'm
they're not
talking
going to get
about
better,
what's
then yes,
around
fire
them. Because you got a couple guys with options that are going to opt in because you ain't getting that crazy money somewhere else because you're not that good. You shouldn't even have that control. And if my guy can't close and he's obviously likes to go on dates, then we got a problem. We got a fundamental problem.
The next guy's not going to be able to close either with the free agent.
That's a big. I think that's where you're missing the boat. I think people would rather. Okay, let's see. Steiny get a crack at it.
You're denying
rather than Guru go 0 for 8.
You're denying history. Like you think it's easy. I don't know why they haven't signed a big name free agent. I don't know. It's probably case by case by case.
This ain't the Mariners.
But for whatever reason, they haven't.
And it's a big deal.
No, it's not. It wasn't for Sabian, is my point.
Okay, so why aren't people... You said you subscribe to this. They're boring.
Yes.
They don't have a star.
Yes.
There's a way. You don't got to wait to watch the seed grow into a watermelon because you can supersede that and go down the expressway, the microwave way, and get you a big boy and change everything.
How?
By going in a room and selling yourself and selling the team in the city. Ohtani, Trout, Stanton, Harper.
You know what?
Come on, Steiny.
That GM doesn't exist.
Well, it don't exist. Well,
that GM has not existed in San Francisco. They've won despite that GM not existing in San Francisco.
So
start thinking about how do you develop a winner without signing a free agent? That's what you need to think about. Okay, let's start with that premise. Not let's get a guy to get a free agent.
So you're going 2030.
I don't know what I'm going.
Well, it sounds like that.
There's 3 ways to get better: your farm system, free agents, and trades.
And all 3. Nothing wrong with all of them.
But the Giants have never done the free agent thing like some other teams.
I'm just, Steiny, what was Farhan brought here to do, and what did we think he could do? No, he took meetings. He courted these guys, and for whatever reason, he couldn't close. If you want to tell me he couldn't close because of California taxes or the dimensions to the ballpark, I say bullpucky. But my thing is, time is running out, and he's got to close. He cannot come here now. Year 1, you can, it's fine. It's going to be fine in 3 or 4 years. Okay, we'll give you that. Not now. You're listening to the people on the YouTube. You're hearing the people call. You heard Mike.
You're asking him to do something.
Bonte won't even participate. Come on, Steiny, it's not just him. Asses are not coming to your place. What are we talking about here?
Your solution is to sign a free agent, which they've never done.
Or give somebody a new crack at it.
That's dumb. I'm sorry, that's dumb.
What is it now? What do you call now? Because it's losing.
That's the only thing you can do is try to develop through the farm system and make good trades and make under the radar signings. The thing that I don't get, and I'm serious, And you cannot tell me that I'm making this up. It was about seeing the young players at the beginning of the year to play with these guys they signed. And they have started to play, the young players, with mixed results. I got news for you. There is only one thing to do next year. See if these guys are the real deal or not. That's it. That's all you can do next year.
So contention is off the table.
Why would you say that? Why would you say contention?
Because you're talking like that. You said it's about the young dudes. You know there's nothing more fickle than a prospect in baseball. And all of them have come up and struggled. Casey Schmidt, you're going to tell – I'm asking you.
That's right. They have struggled.
You're going to run him out there? He's your
starting
third baseman or where? Come on, man. You're half-assing the job. His job is to do that and go sign a free agent.
Stop saying a free agent. Nobody's ever signed a free agent here. That's fantasy land. Yeah, it'd be great, but that's not. It can't be an organizational philosophy here. It can't. They just until they start doing it.
They're trying to do it, but they don't close. So it's not like you're saying
so easy to
they
say
don't want to do it.
It's so
They're
easy to say
taking the meetings.
It's so easy. Right.
Something's going on.
For leverage, they're taking the meetings.
That leverage is running out.
I'm not blaming Farhan because they can't sign a free agent when nobody could sign a free agent here before Farhan. You can't win by signing. It's like you can't be the Lakers. You can't. Not everybody can be the Lakers. And here's the other thing. And I'm okay. You want to get rid of Farhan and Kapler? That's fine. What do you do with these young guys who are coming up? Do they get a shot at it?
Of course they do.
But Farhan's not even here. You get a new regime in here, they're going to do just to these young guys what Farhan did to Joey Bart. They're going to get rid of all their non-guys.
Well, Joey Bart, Steiny, he can blame nobody but himself. You got opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. I don't feel like he got jerked around or something ripped out from underneath him to where he didn't ball. He had every opportunity to be the next Buster Posey or something remotely close to where he could be their everyday catcher.
Brandon, Alameda. What's up, Brandon? How you doing?
Hey, Steiny Guru. So good to talk to you.
Hey.
I think it's about motivating people on the field. Farhan's done great, but Gabe Kapler is a robot. This guy does not motivate people, and Bart's a perfect example. They did not develop this guy. They did not give him confidence. He had all the skills. There's a bunch of people out there, and young people have to get cultivated and groomed and put in a position to succeed and given that opportunity. That's why you have the older guys there. I really think that the problem is the manager and not the GM. Thanks.
Wow. I don't think he can differentiate the two.
Do you, and this is baseball philosophy, Steiny, we saw the Warriors a couple of years ago lead the league in fouls. This team makes a lot of errors. Is any of that on Gabe getting them in the proper mindset of not making errors or paying the price, or I'm going to get in your ass if this continues? I'm asking you. Because in my world, if it happens to the degree it's happening, the manager, something's stale. Something's not getting delivered, or there's no fear. I could be wrong, but when Larry sent that tweet about,
oh, God,
did they quit? I'm wondering.
They didn't quit.
But mentally, are they fried?
Oh, gosh. You can't make a collective statement about 25 guys and say they quit. Has Brandon Crawford quit?
Well, if you look at his average, I'm just
a bad average doesn't mean you've given up.
I'm making light of, but it's, dude, I don't have the answers, man.
I do. Brandon Crawford has not given up.
But what I don't like about your answer, Steiny, is you're saying don't make change because we don't have anything better yet in place.
I didn't say don't make change.
You know what I'm saying? The fear of the unknown.
I don't say don't make a change. I am looking at our young players, and I don't care if you like it or not, who have been a part of keeping us in contention. They've kept us at 500 or above all season. This hodgepodge of veterans and young players. We're 500. We expect these young players to all get better.
That's not reality. They're not all going to blossom at the same time.
How did the Astros go from the worst team in the league to the best team in the league?
Yeah, they stood 2 years. Remember, we used to call them the Lastros. So it was 3 seasons of nothing.
That's right.
So you're telling me 2030 you're okay with. Giant fans, don't come to the park.
2030 is 7 years.
Oh,
Guru, you just said 2 years for the Astros.
No, it was more. It felt like 8. Nobody.
Well, it wasn't 8.
They're not coming to your ballpark. So
They
you're
weren't
saying
coming
go
to the
that route. So you're saying sacrifice 2 or 3 more seasons.
Maybe.
Farhan's untouchable. Elliott Ness, nothing to see here.
I didn't say that.
And you're saying it so definitively, like all these guys are going to bubble.
I don't think
Casey Schmidt.
I have no idea
who's
if they're
not
going to
nervous
bubble.
about him.
I don't know if they're going to bubble. Can we find out?
If you've been watching, I think you can take something from what you've seen thus far. Ain't no scholarships being given. I think you think there's a world of
Trey Lance.
Matos and Luciano. Just run out there. Is yours for 162? No.
Okay, well then, guess what?
You're screwed. I'm asking.
You're screwed.
Well, that's what it is now. Screw part.
I mean, listen. The part that's a joke to me is now you're laughing at all their young prospects who got a chance this year.
Oh my gosh!
And like, if I did that, you'd be like, you can't rob them of that. Can we look at our young players and see what they can do for a whole season?
I think you could make an argument. We've saw most that happen this year.
Okay, and they're a 500 team with a lot of young players. What? Like, I don't want to be a jerk, but why wouldn't it be logical to think these young players are going to get better? Some of them.
I don't know why you just stopped and hit your wagon to the young players.
Because that's all we can do.
You've let it paralyze you in this conversation.
That's all we can do.
There's multiple facets to this team.
No, there aren't.
They're not losing just because of the young players. If anything, they're in contention because of the young players.
That's what I'm saying.
But
so play them next year.
That's not a formula for success, Matt.
How do you know?
Because
these guys aren't good enough right now. Like, that's fine. If you look at their young players.
I'm not making that statement.
Okay, well then, I think we got to see them for a full year.
Okay, and Farhan, you got to close a deal or some deals.
What if he doesn't close a deal and they've got 6 great young players and they win 90 games next year?
You're laughing as you say it, but okay.
Did we think they were going to win 107?
Yeah, the yard to be filled. The yard to be filled.
For what?
Passionate Giant fans that are going to subscribe to that's going to get them back in contention. What you're missing is this
in contention, whether you like it or not.
The question is, why have they gone south so bad?
I told you what I thought my answer was, and you've dismissed it 3 times.
No, I ain't dismissed
now, when
it.
Willard says it, you'll be like, oh, yeah.
Now, that hurt. No, come on, man.
Dude,
when he gives up, it's over. And you're saying just round up the youngsters, run them back out there. Don't hold Farhan accountable. Dude, he's striking out left and right. So let me ask you this. Let's just say let's fast forward what they used to simulate the season. It's over. News breaks that Farhan and Kapler are gone. Would you come in here with your wig? Would you be super shocked? Or would you be like, okay,
no.
And that's
I'm not saying he should or shouldn't be fired.
Right. And
I'm saying right now, you got one option, and that's to find out if these guys who got a sniff this year, how many of them are bona fide Major League Baseball players and can start day in and day out. Do we have any everyday players here? Let's identify them next year.
And I think you have a couple.
Okay.
But I don't think that.
We got to find out.
Right, but Steiny, I think you can do that over 162 like they've done this year to sprinkle that, not let them take over and become the Sacramento Giants. Like, this is the big leagues. And
so are they in contention or not?
Listen, the eye test, they're done.
Okay.
And I hate Larry I keep going to that. I hate he sent that tweet.
What is he?
Because
he doesn't know.
I'm just saying,
doesn't know.
It ain't about he knows. It's about it's a thought.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I never thought of that.
Well, I heard Dave
until
Fleming.
I read it. Yeah.
I heard Dave Fleming on the radio today, who's been around the Giants.
And I missed him.
And
What'd he say?
Says they have not quit. They're trying, especially Cobb.
Would you like to hear that cut?
Yeah, let's give it to me, baby.
They really
Rick James.
Core position player, anchor players. Mm-hmm. That doesn't necessarily mean, that has to be superstar level players. But I think it's very obvious that the Giants need a group of everyday position players they can lean on, play a lot, count on every day. That is missing big time. And there just isn't an example of a team that's a good team that doesn't have that. So I appreciate what the Giants have tried to do these last few years. They're trying to get the minor league system up to speed, get some of these young guys here, find that core internally while also not having a terrible team. So you sign Conforto, you sign Haniger, you sign Stripling, these like all guys designed to help you have a better competitive team, playoff caliber team while you do that other thing. But, they are going to have to ask some hard questions about whether that kicking the can down the road strategy of let's try to do both has inhibited them from really doing either.
Dave Fleming, Morning Roast.
Good stuff. And I told you this morning that I didn't agree. I didn't think the Giant players have quit. But it's just fascinating everybody has their own opinion and how things play out. But Dave just said it, Steiny. I know I'm not mad at the youngsters. Some have promise. Some may be blossoming stars. But the mixture that Dave just talked about, he basically, to me, this is how I paraphrase it, they've struck out. Farhan struck out on the guys that were the veterans that were supposed to do their part. Now, the math of it, Steiny, you could say they're still in it. But if you're watching them play, they're dead men walking.
Well, they can only play the rest of the season. Like there are no moves to make at this point. So, But
I appreciate you saying if they got their papers, walking papers, you wouldn't be shocked.
No, but you're going to stink for 2 more years.
And you're going to stink with them here under.
No. They don't stink now. They're a 500 team. They're boring, but they don't stink. They don't stink. The record doesn't show they stink. It shows they're boring as F.
Couldn't you make a case that whether it's boring as F or fading or, I don't know, some people say giving up, could be a byproduct of the lack of activity throughout the season, whether it's at the trade deadline afterwards, just pretty much just standing pat and hoping things are going to go right? Because you had time to control that, but you didn't.
You can always say that, but I also remember a fan base that was pretty much in unison saying there was no deal out there.
Well, yeah.
But now we know that's not true.
I know. Well, I didn't think it was true at the time.
Lance Lynn on line 1.
Right, and people will say, so you knew he was going to go from 2-11 to 6-2. And my point is, maybe. I'm with you on that one.
And I'm just saying, that is on the general manager or president of baseball.
It absolutely is. Yes. Yes, it's on the ledger that Lance Lynn has helped the contender and not the Giants. Yeah. Absolutely.
And what did they do? They rolled the dice hoping that he, in a Dodger uniform, would pitch right. And they came up aces. Dennis just said something that hit me. Boring is worse because sports is entertainment. And right now, when you go to a Giant game, Steiny, more often than not, you are not being entertained, especially when you got guys out of position, misjudging fly balls, throwing the ball over the yard. It's one thing to lose 4-2, and you're going to mess up and make an error too. But
I just don't.
Friday's comedy
they're
in
not
Colorado.
60 and 102. We're talking about them like they're 60 and 102.
But they were flirting with a playoff spot,
right? And they didn't have enough, and that's what we're finding out. They don't have enough. So how do you get more next year?
Now, was that enough from the manager? We don't see that. You were speaking. We don't know.
What are you talking about?
A manager's job is to keep these guys motivated and hungry.
No, it's not. Not in the end. We disagree on that.
Yeah.
Pros motivate themselves. All respects, that was Flem supposed to say. Well, you can color it.
Truth.
You can color it in a way where you acknowledge. Look, I'll never do it in any sport. You can't say a team quits because you're talking about either 12 guys, 25 guys, or 53 guys. And they're not a monolith. Alex Wood had some issues this year, clearly, right? So he's not on board. But you can't tell me Brandon Crawford is any less of a professional this year than he's always been.
No, but again,
that's the bottom line.
And it's the beauty of baseball, Steiny. Even at the deadline, they were in contention. And they were navigating through the youngsters going through their puberty, errors, slumps collectively, and they still had an opportunity. They owned the playoff spot, the wild card spot at times. I don't think it's okay for fans to be disappointed to ask, in your world, you're saying, oh, they just came back to earth, nothing to see here. But when you start making errors and you can't get runners home with less than 2 outs from second base and even third, I think it's fair to say, why did this thing go south so fast and the bug hit everybody? Like, to me, something's going on that we are not privy to. But I don't think it's hogwash to think, like, damn, what if you had Tommy Lasorda manning the thing and getting in guys' ass on a regular, would we see a better product? But in your world, Steiny, what I'm hearing from you is, nah, Goo, you got there and you ran out of gas, nothing to see here. But to me, that's
basically
taking the guys.
Right, because you got to blame somebody. Is this a playoff team?
I thought it was.
Okay, but
is it coming into the season?
Is it a playoff team?
Well, we'll know in 2 weeks.
Are you shocked that they're not going to make the playoffs?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. And 98% of that is how this season and what I saw play out. Right. You're not.
I thought they were going to be in contention because there's 3 wild cards in the NL and AL. Like, it's hard to be out of it. But that's like the point is we could have this semantic argument all the time. They're not really in it. I get it. They're not really in it. They're a 500 team. But the fact that you have an extra wild card means that in theory, if you were 74 and 73 right now and exciting, people would be very intrigued.
And when I went to Dallas in that hotel room, when was that, June? And they swept the Dodgers on the road. I know that's early, but I'm like, oh my gosh, here come the Giants are for real. And they had the magical comeback. I'm just like, that's what I was saying to you guys. It's magic happening. They got an identity.
Why would you say that?
Because they were getting results.
Well, that's your fault for thinking magic occurs in May. Seriously.
I dubbed it magic. Right. They were earning it by execution. Just because I put that adjective on there don't mean I'm right. They were playing good, sound, fundamental baseball. Where has that gone?